Hi guys, I know you're tired of seeing me sitting in that chair, so I'm over here at my kitchen counter fixing up my water, and I had to take some midday medications. And I thought I would just chat with you while I was doing that and have a midday chat to begin the week. You know me, I just ramble on about nothing, but it means everything, doesn't it, right? So I'm fixing up my water. My husband's gone to town, or he would be doing this. He doesn't hardly want me to do anything, but I can get up and do. So I've been up walking some, and so while he's gone to town, I thought I would get up and make my water myself. And when he gets back, he'll get on to me. He'll say, "I could do that, but I can do it myself now, and I need to be doing more things for myself." So I'm finishing putting the water in my jug, my tumbler, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to show it to you. My sister brought this down to me when she came and stayed with me, and I love it. Look how pretty it is. It's pink and it got roses, and that's me. That's my brand, pink and roses. And she said she saw this at the store, and I think she was with a friend of hers or something, and she said, "I hope Debbie don't see this before I get it, because she'll get it." She's right. If I'd have seen this, I would have got it. I just love it, and I'm trying to keep hydrated. I have chronic dehydration anyway, and especially after I have surgery, that is a big problem of mine. Is because I don't get hungry, I don't get thirsty, and that's something I'm struggling with right now. Is I don't have an appetite, and I'm not thirsty, but I know I need to, keep my strength up, especially hydrate. So she brought me this, and my husband's been trying to fill it up every day with ice and water and keep it filled up for me. And I told him I can get up and do some things for myself, but I appreciate him. And so while he was gone to town, to get a few things for us, I thought I would go ahead and fill it up. And so I've been trying to drink, keep hydrated, and so yeah. And I was walking around a little bit. So when I, get up and do a lot of walking, I do have to have a cane. I had to have this cane once before when I had a really major surgery, and I had a lot of complications, and I couldn't walk, and I had to go through physical therapy for when I got home. They had to send in home PT for maybe almost 2 months, and I finally got back on my feet, and so I do tend to get really weak after um, after surgery, because I do have several autoimmune illnesses and different things, and surgery or any kind of procedure or sickness tends to set me back. But but you guys, I'm doing good. Um, I've told y'all several times I'm a tough old bird, and God helps me every day, and He gives me strength, and I don't know what I would do without Him. But so I have my cane, especially my husband before he leaves to go, get medications, grocery, or whatever. He makes sure I have my cane, especially if I have to get up and go to the bathroom or just take a little walk, because I get stiff and sore just sitting. And it's good to get up and walk and get your strength back, because you don't need to just sit all the time. And I'm tired of sitting. I really am. So if you have to have a cane, get a pretty one. And this one's pink and it's got roses. It almost matches my cap. Can y'all see that? So yeah. So if you gotta have a cane, just get a blinged out one. So I have my pretty cane. So I am taking care of myself, and I'm using my cane to walk and get my balance, because if I sit for any length of time when I get up, I do get a little lightheaded and everything. So I've got my cane, and I'm doing good, guys. So I've been up for a little while and trying to walk a little bit, and I think we'll go over to the kitchen table and finish our chat. So let's go to the kitchen table. All right, guys, so I'm back at the kitchen table, and I brought my water with me, so I'm going to hydrate. I can't sit here at the table too long because these chairs are not that comfortable, and my cushions are on my lower back and below, where my back is and everything. And even though I got a cushion kind of back here, I usually just come in here and sit for a minute or two, and maybe come in here to eat a little bit, and then I go back to one of my comfortable chairs in the living room and take a little stroll. And then I have a big recliner in what I call a sitting room. That's the room where I go and I have my desk and all my papers where I write and do little crafts. And of course, it's all messed up right now. And then have all my books, and I just call it my sitting room. That's my place where I go and hide out. And so, when I feel really tired or something, I go in there and crash in my recliner. And then of the night, I go in there and crash in there and read and watch videos when I can. And been trying to catch up on some TV shows. I haven't watched TV in so long, and been trying to watch some Christmas movies and inspirational movies. Just to get me in a good mood and everything. So that's what I've been trying to do. And I'm not sleeping as much. I'm trying to make myself stay awake more. Like the first week, 7, 8 days or something, I was just zonked out and everything. And I could still take naps during the day, but I'm trying to make myself stay awake more. But I know I need rest and everything. But I'm trying to, I'm just not used to taking naps or sleeping up a day ever. And but I am resting and everything. So I just want to explain to you, a little bit about my surgery and everything, because like I said, some of you have asked and everything. The surgery I had was, I'd had this surgery before 8 years ago, and it's called where they had to put a Medtronic InterStim implant in, and that was actually it was after I had my complete colon taken out. I don't have a colon anymore. That was a very major surgery for me, and a very difficult surgery. And but before that colon surgery, I had an emergency surgery a few years before that, where they had to take so many feet of my intestines out. I just had so much digestive system problems all my life, really. And so when I had that all eventually led up to my colon surgery. It just basically boiled down to I had a dead colon that just did not work. And I went through many years of medications. All the medications failed. I had been on over-the-counter medications, handfuls and handfuls, and they failed. And all the prescription medications that the doctors tried just didn't work. And I was in a critical stage, and I was sent to a doctor in Knoxville, Tennessee, and a surgeon, and he made the call that the colon had to go. It was very life-threatening, so they did the surgery. And for the first year after the surgery, I really didn't have good quality of life. So I'm trying to make all this short, and I know it's kind of boring and everything, but just to give you an idea of, how I've all come to this is, so about a year after the colon surgery, they made another call that they would try this Medtronic InterStim implant that would help my colon, where I don't have a colon, but help my digestive system. I'm not going to get into a big detail about all that, how it helps it and everything, but it would help my digestive system and help me have a little bit more better quality of life. So you have to go through a trial period before you can actually have the system implanted internally. It's like a 7-day trial period, and they just put some leads in and everything. It's a really expensive thing, and insurances require that. So I went through that, and what they call a success is if you have at least 50%, 50%, better quality in your symptoms and everything. And I did pass that, and I had a little bit more than 50%. So they decided they would go ahead and do the major, complete surgery and give me this Medtronic InterStim. And this is the old system that I had. So I had an old system, and they just, this basically, they put a battery in. They put an incision in your, back. They did it on my left side, and they put this battery in, and there's leads to it, and they put leads into your spine, and it controls. They put them in the lower spine. Certain nerves there controls your digestive system. That's the intestinal part, and so I'm trying, like I said, trying to make this short as I can. I'm sorry. And so this is something that I was hooked up to, and it would control that. And so I was controlled basically by a battery. My husband called me, or does still calls me, the bionic woman, because he says I was controlled by a battery. And so how that worked was this part would go over the battery. I would have to put it on the battery where the battery was placed back there, and you would turn this on. And there's different settings to it, and you can feel like these vibrations, these stimulations, and everything. And the doctor would put it on different settings and everything. So I know this is all confusing, and you can just click off at any time, and I probably lost some people too. So that was the old system. And since I had that old system, they come up with a brand new system that is actually kind of like it is a smartphone. It's a smartphone. It's a Samsung smartphone. And the system is much better. The battery life is much better. This old system, the battery life was only 5 to 7 years. And I got pretty much almost 7 years out of it on the high end. And the battery started depleting. Over the last year, the battery started going down and depleting. And my symptoms started coming back. So this last year, I've not really been feeling too well. I've had more symptoms, and especially over the last 4 or 5 months, so many digestive symptoms have come back. And so I just really wasn't feeling well. And they said that was because the battery kept slowly depleting on me, and my symptoms started coming back. So the new system, this is called a smart programmer, and this is what they call the communicator. And it communicates with the programmer. And let me get my glasses on so I can see something here. So you push a button, and it's similar to like a smartphone, which it really pretty much is a smartphone. And it has apps and everything. And there are certain things that control, I have to punch in and everything that controls the apps and everything. So this one works about like the other one. I would put this on the battery that they placed in my lower back and everything, and it just controls everything. And then I have to push buttons and get a setting and everything. So the Medtronic representative was there during the surgery and helped during the surgery, and afterwards talked to me in recovery. And I was all, kind of woozy, so I didn't understand a lot of what he said, but he just told me a little bit about the system and everything, and he put it on a setting. It's on a low setting right now because there's so much inflammation in there in the spine, and I have like 3 different incisions and a kind of like a hole drilled where the spine is, where they put the leads and everything, and that's why this is such a difficult surgery and restrictive and everything. So like I said, this is all crazy, I know. And so this is what's going on with the surgery. I had to have a whole new system placed in because that battery was depleting very fast and was almost gone. And this system is MRI compatible. I can have MRIs with it. The other one, I couldn't have any MRIs. Certain tests I couldn't have. Just so many things that was restricted with it. And I really need some MRIs with some of my health conditions. And so now I can have MRIs with this one. There's just certain settings that you have to go in, and you have to turn this off, and you have to put it on MRI settings. So yeah, it's just really, it's complicated, and there's a lot to learn to it and everything. So the MRI people called me actually the other day, asked me how I was doing, and they walked me through so many things on this thing. And so, yeah. So that's why I had to have surgery. And I have to carry a card. So I'm going to turn it backwards because it has all my personal information on it. I have to carry a card with me at all times because this battery and everything will go off. Like in an airport, it will set the airport security off. I would have to manually go through their systems. Even at stores, if they have high security on their doors and everything, I will set the security off. And there are certain things like I'm not supposed to get around. I'm not going to go into all that stuff either. I know you don't want to hear all that. So that's why I had surgery. And the surgery is very restrictive. I can't bend right now, which even when I do heal up, it's just like the last surgery. I have to watch out how I bend. And there's all kinds of restrictions. Right now, I can't bend at all. There's a lot of things I can't do. So even when I get back on my feet, I'm still not going to be doing a lot of things that I was before for a long time. And it's just a lot of restrictions. That's why I'm basically only allowed to just sit right now, walk around. Yeah. So I'm not going to bore you with this anymore. But that's what I had surgery for. They had to take the old battery out, and they couldn't put the new battery in that pocket. They were hoping they could, but that old pocket, my skin is so thin and my tissues are so thin. And I had problems with that battery before. It would pop out, we'd have to try to take, our hand and push it back in. And it just hurt a lot of times. I have to have a cushion behind me at all times on hard surfaces, and just like even my kitchen chair and stuff, because it was so close to the tissues of my outer skin, you could feel it. So he made a new pocket down below it. So basically he had to open that incision up, close it. So I have that incision. I have one down below it of a new pocket, and then the other hole where the leads went through, and it's an open top hole. So yeah, that's why I'm so sore and everything and restricted. And so yeah, but I'm doing okay. And then when I had that, sorry, I'm starting to cough again. When I had that sinus stuff and bronchitis stuff on top of it, and I'm still not over that. And I don't know what's up with that, but I don't have a spleen. And so that's probably what's going on with that. I know I'm a mess, y'all. I'm sorry. I am a big mess. Maybe I'm a wackadoodle. I don't know. But I don't have a spleen to fight off infections and everything. So yeah, but I'm not. I have went on longer than I really wanted to, and I'm really tired now. And so if you hung on with me this long, bless your hearts. And I really appreciate you, but I do appreciate all of you anyway. And thank you so much for your prayers and just staying with me and everything. So let's just go into this week gently and gracefully, and let's go with God. And thank you all so much. Bye-bye.